This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
First down, touchdown. Dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling into the TPX hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com.
Hand off to Stevenson. Runs left big hole across the 40. Cuts left at the 45. And steamrolls the defender there.
Live from our studios inside Gillette Stadium, here's Matt Smith.
Hey, you ready over there?
Oh,
it's time to go.
Yeah.
You've been gone a long time. I don't shine shoes no more. You got to open the show.
Look, I got all these papers in front of me. I got all this stuff.
People are blaming you for the loss, just to let you know. That's the word from the UK.
Yeah, because first loss on the Patriots season, and what's different is that I'm here, so
Correct.
I take full accountability. Welcome into the Patriots post-game show, which is presented by DraftKings. There, I got one thing done correctly. Welcome in, and you're welcome to join us here, 855-PATS-500. Call into the TPX hotline. You can also email the show. It's a new email address.
It
Might
is.
understand. Podcasts, plural, at patriots.com. Hardy, Paul, Perillo, and Mike Dussault here to break down the loss to the Jaguars in London, 32-16 the final. Boy, it did not appear to be trending that way early in the game. Your initial thoughts, please, Paul Perillo.
Yeah, I mean, I thought a lot of our keys had to do with getting off to a better start. And I thought they got exactly that. They have a beautiful drive to open the game. 11 plays, 68 yards, 6:28 off the clock, 7-0. They respond with a 3-and-out defensively. Then they get the ball. They drive again, 12-play field goal drive, and you're like, okay, here we go, 10-0, getting to play the game on your terms. Nothing after that was positive at all. This was a butt whooping. Yeah. I mean, Jacksonville was vastly superior for the last three quarters of this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in shock with the defense. I think I said it before. I was worried about Jacksonville had their number all day long. Whether they run 18 straight times at one point. I think that kind of says it all in a game where you're a couple scores down. I mean, it's not a total blowout at that point, but Jacksonville just able to control the line of scrimmage all day long. So many of the runs, it just looked like we were joking, Paul, in the middle of it, where have your pick. Which hole do you want? I mean, who was the old running back from Pittsburgh who used to Le'Veon Bell? It was like one of those where he kind of like pause for a second and be like, would I go here? Should I go there? Dominant effort on the ground from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I thought their attack early on, especially through the air, targeting some of the Patriots linebackers, was dead on. And, Trevor Lawrence, I mean, he's a really good player. He had time. And they picked them apart however they kind of wanted pretty much from the second quarter on.
And they really didn't even have to do it in a common sense approach. At a halftime, Trevor Lawrence, I think, was 9 of 10 on his completions.
Yeah. I mean, even for the game, he was 15 for 20 for 193 yards.
So you would think, with that kind of success in the passing game, they must have thrown the ball a lot. No, they went out and ran the ball in the second half, and were doing it at will. So why take the chance of anything going wrong in the passing game when you can run the ball too? Well, weren't you completing a lot of throws? Yeah, but we didn't even have to. Just go out there and run the ball and pick up first down after first down and just take time off the clock and build upon that lead that you had at halftime when, again, it looked like you jump out to that 10-0 lead. This is what we wanted from the Patriots. Play with a lead, see how that works. Well, if you're going to be so porous defensively, it doesn't work that way. It only works when you can get stops, and they couldn't get stops.
And I have a confession to make, and I was, everybody that listens to the show, remembers, the good old days, right, when I used to have the nod. I was pretty close to, giving a nod to that. I personally thought the game was over.
I thought there was going to be a nod.
I thought Jacksonville looked lifeless, like we had all talked about heading in, throughout the week. The first quarter, I thought Josh Hines-Allen looked like he had no interest whatsoever being on the field for Jacksonville. The Cisco, that guy, he looked like he had no interest in tackling. I was pretty close. The Patriots looked like they had brought some intensity, a renewed energy. And I was pretty close to saying if the Patriots could have gotten a stop on that drive and they go up 10-0, I was like, this is it.
Yeah.
and then Jacksonville went right down the field and scored, and they never got stopped.
The hasty TD, it kind of looked like, is anyone going to tackle him? I mean, Josh Allen.
There was no interest whatsoever in tackling for Jacksonville in that first drive. And then, to their credit, their defense played well the last 3 quarters.
There's something that happened toward the end of the game which it bugs me to no end. It bugs me when I see it in virtually any game.
Something tells me that's going to come up on the bad list.
Okay. Well, I don't know if it's going to, because you may defend it as a scholar of the game, Paul.
Without knowing exactly what you're going to say, I'm going to go on a limb and say I'm not going to defend it.
No, I think we're all on the same page. Maybe. We'll see what you say, but I think we might be.
Do you want me to say it now? Can I just say it right now?
Say it.
Going for the 2-point conversion. When you're down 15, all right, let's get the 2-point conversion out of the way now. Why? Why don't you make it an 8-point game? And if by some miracle you make it back to the end zone, you'll have the momentum of having scored twice, and everything is on your side at that point, and now you know you have it. Instead, you put yourself where you know, we still got to score 2 more times. Well, you didn't have to. If you just got it to within 8, then a touchdown and 2-point conversion still ties the game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
But instead, we're
going
to shoot ourselves in the foot early on this and put ourselves into a position where we're playing from behind the 8 ball again. I don't get it. I see it all the time. And the book tells all these guys the same thing. Go for 2 early. I don't understand the mentality or the philosophy.
That way you know what
it.
you need.
You know what you need. That's what everyone just says.
You'd be safe at home like George Carlin. Yay!
Do you want to you want to go, or you want me to go?
No, you can go.
No, my mind is, and we were complaining about the same thing. But even when you get to the point where the Patriots get the ball back and they're down 9 points, it's like your whole team demeanor is different than if you get it back and you're down 8 points. You're like, hey, man, we're 1 score away. Now it's like you're down 9. Even if you go down and score, you know you're going to have to do it again. I don't get it. I'm sure there'll be someone who calls in and dismissively just gives us you want to know what you need, that line, which I'm with you guys. I don't get it. Get within 1 score, and like you said, Hardy, have the momentum if you score again, and then get the 2-pointer.
And to any time you can point to it as a success, and someone will inevitably bring up the Super Bowl. Well, you go for it. You go for 2 early and off. You see what happened. Tom Brady ain't back there. That's number 1. And number 2, it is not a 3 or 4 score game. It's a 2 score game.
The 2s in the Super Bowl were necessity. They were down 16. They needed 2 touchdowns and 2 twos.
Yes.
But we're going to get to this a little bit more. But I will just say, I understand, and this is, I love the way Mike said it. Someone's going to call in, and you can disagree with me all you want. I don't care. But Mike said it perfectly. Someone's going to call in and dismissively tell us why we're wrong. And it drives me insane.
You want to know what you have.
I'm not going to dismissively tell you you're wrong, but I'm going to give you a lot of reasons why I think it was wrong to go for 2 there. Again, we'll get into it. But I understand it's not easier to get the 2-point conversion in the final seconds than it would be to get it when you get – as long as you will submit, for me, that it wasn't easier to get it when they went for it with 8 minutes and 22 seconds left. Like, that's the whole thing.
Right.
These analytics guys tell you, why is it easier to get it in the final minute? Then if you don't get it, the game's over. Well, I got news for you. When you didn't get that with 8:22 left, the game was over.
The game was over.
Yep.
Yeah. I'd rather end the game late as opposed to earlier.
I would rather
Right. Well,
I would rather make the other team have to make this is game on the line, 1 play.
And do you believe
pressure.
it? Yeah. Do you believe in momentum? Do you believe in?
It's Mike's point.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this is a trickle-down effect of things that happen. You ended up after that with a 4th and 26. You still had 2 timeouts left, about 2:25 left in the half. So you had 2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning on 4th and 26. Had you only been down 8 at the time, Hardy,
Yes.
you could have punted to
Right.
see if you could get a 3 and out, use your
Right.
2 timeouts in the 2-minute warning, and get the ball back with 2 minutes left, down 8.
But you can't do that.
No.
But
Can't
down
do that when
9,
you're
Gotta go
down
for it.
9.
down 9, we got to go for 4th and 26.
Yeah, but you don't know what you're going to need.
But the good news was they knew what they needed.
I know what they needed.
At least you knew. At least you knew.
So, and again, Mike put it perfectly. Someone's going to tell us why we're stupid, and that's fine. I get it. Just don't explain to me the reason. Like, I understand what your reasoning is. I disagree with it.
Yeah.
It. Chris Rose did it during the game. It's like there should, at some point, is there going to be a 2-point conversion classic. I understand all the reasons that people say. I can live with the down 14 thing. Down 14 in the fourth quarter, a lot of teams now, when you get that first touchdown, you go for 2 because you're trying to win in regulation. If I can get the first one, then I can kick it on the second one and win. I don't agree with it, but I understand that. At least I'm still within a score. The 9-point thing to me is indefensible.
That's it, the 9-point. And that's such a difference between 8 points and 9 points for the team's point of view at the end of the game. Like, you're down by 8. You just need a play, really. You're going to be right in it with a play. My mindset down 9 is completely different if I'm an offensive player.
Now, I'm going to be honest. I watched the last 3 quarters of that game. Had the Patriots kicked the extra point and got within 8, do I think that they would have had a chance? No. I think that they got thoroughly blasted on that last drive. Like, I don't think they would have had a better chance to get a 3-and-out if they were only down 8 than 9. But I would have liked to have gotten the ball back at the end, down 1 score instead of 2.
It would have been more. Yeah.
Is that too much?
That's all.
That's all.
That's it. That's it. That's all we really wanted. So we'll get to your phone calls here. We'll get to your emails. Once again, podcasts, plural, at patriots.com, 855-PATS-500. We'll get them loaded up here. But first, it's the good. It's the bad. It's the injured. We still calling it that?
Now it's time for the good,
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
the bad,
Hey, what happened?
and the injured.
You all right, Gay?
Good, the bad, and the injured brought to you by the good players, the bad players, and the injured players in today's 32-16 loss to the Jaguars in London. Hardy filling in for Matt Smith here. Paul Perillo, Mike Dussault has the honor of leading us off on the lengthy good list. Mike, where will you start?
I'm going to start with Drake Maye. I'm going to put him on there. Great start. I mean, I think it's more of an overall thing. I mean, I know they lost the game, but didn't turn the ball over today. I thought there were some strides with that. I know there were a couple that we can probably say, that was a little close, which I'll take, though. I'll take close, going from 4 turnovers, what it was last week, to none, but just close ones. But I just was impressed with how comfortable he looked out there. I thought that was just, to me, especially right out of the gate, it was like, man, this kid really looks like he's settling in a little bit. Had some nice pockets at times. Didn't really get himself into much trouble. I'm sure of all this stuff, we can probably go through and find a play here, play there where it wasn't quite perfect for him, but, went quiet for a long time with the offense. I kind of put that a little bit more on the play calling when all of a sudden we're trying to run the ball a little more. I love they came out, they were throwing the ball. Wanted to see them kind of pick that back up, hit the few big passing plays at the end with their last scoring drive that they had. So I just thought in a bubble, Drake Maye, this throw you're seeing right here to Hunter Henry, right on him. Throwing it right as he's coming out of the break. So I just thought it was a real nice developmental day from Drake. I wish that the defense could have given him some extra opportunities, gotten some more stops. Maybe then we would have seen even more out of him. But in the limited action that he was able to kind of sling it out there, I liked what I saw from him.
So I had Maye on my list as well. Some of the things that Mike said are the reasons, too. When I was doing my chin wag on my shows.
Yeah, on one of your shows. Over there.
Chris Gasper actually asked me, what are you looking for Drake Maye today? What kind of strides would you like to see? And, I dismissed, the turnover thing because, obviously no one wants to see their quarterback turning the ball over. But I said I'd like to see him look a little bit more settled and comfortable, especially early in the game in the pocket. Mike just talked about it. I thought we really saw that. I thought he looked really comfortable with the game plan, and I thought he didn't look like he was running around into pressure as much especially early in this game as he did last week. Mm-hmm. Now, the turnover thing is kind of circumstantial. Mike alluded to it. He threw he had about 3 turnover-worthy plays, 2 flat-out dropped interceptions. So how much differently do you look at the game if he had 2 interceptions? Probably a little bit, but I would stay with the same. Yeah. I thought he looked more settled, more in charge of the offense. You see the difference on some of the balls downfield. The ball to Booty was a really nice throw. So, yeah, I had Drake Maye on my good list, too.
I had him on there for a reason that I will tag here when it's my turn to go for the good list. But, yeah, 26 of 37 for the 276 yards, the 2 touchdowns, no picks, a couple that were real close. But some of the game stuff that you're talking about, Paul, the ability to recognize – at this point, I could just throw the ball at the feet of my running back here.
That was a great play.
And get away with an incompletion here as opposed to a loss. Stuff like that. Good. Okay, I'll take it. We'll put him on the good list.
Yeah.
All right. What's your
and
first?
again, second game. If this was like second game of his third season, and again, all of the production's coming when the game's over, I'm not as forgiving,
Right,
you know?
right.
But that play that he made right before the touchdown to Osborne, that's a really, really good play. That's a savvy veteran play.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll out here. He's going to get me, but I got a back right there. I'm going to backhand it
Yeah.
right at his feet, live to fight another down. That
Yep.
was a really, really good play.
Yeah.
I'm glad I was astute enough to recognize it and bring it up and somehow be elevated in the eyes of Paul Perillo.
You got a little ball knower in you?
And Mike
A little
Dussault.
bit? Just
You a
little,
ball knower?
You know ball knower?
I know a little thing or two about a thing or two. What's your first good, Paul?
Knoweth of ball.
All right, so kind of in line with that is I'm going to give Alex Van Pelt and the coaching staff a lot of credit for breaking the mold. Like they broke that start thing that we're talking about. First opening drive touchdown in how many games?
Lot.
Like since Pittsburgh last year, I think.
Yeah.
So I thought their opening script was incredible. It really had Jacksonville looking like every bit the team that had to quit against Chicago last week. So I thought everything that they did, they came out throwing the ball. I think they threw it on something like 6 of the first 7 plays, something in that neighborhood. They got Maye comfortable right away in a mix too, not just like bombing away. Some downfield throws, some underneath stuff, some quick, some a little bit slower developing. And unfortunately, when that script was up, the offense went south. But I just thought the opening game plan. They usually script about 15 plays, and let's see, what were the 2 scoring drives? 11 and 12. So that's, it's 23 plays. That opening script obviously was very effective. I want to give Alex Van Pelt a little credit for that.
I agree.
That was my first good, the opening drive, and we've seen it for years. I used to kind of lament the fact that even when Tom Brady was here, you'd have that amazing opening drive. You'd have the scripted plays, the 10, 12 plays to get you downfield score, and then things would stall. Mm-hmm. And I could never wrap my head around our defenses figuring things out that early in the game. But is that really all you came in with in terms of your whole plan? That's your whole plan? Get her. Yeah. You're going to come out with an opening drive and not have much planned after that. Yeah. But we've been lacking even that for what seems like a while. I was happy to see it return. Part of my Drake Maye good came on how good things looked on those opening 2 drives. And Drake Maye went beyond that and played well beyond that for portions beyond those opening drives. So he belongs, I think, on the good list anyway.
Yep.
But kudos to both Van Pelt and to the Patriots offense for figuring things out and coming out with the lead, which is one of the things we wanted. That's one of the things I think we universally want to get out there, score first, play with the lead, see how that works out for you. We know how it did, but, that's another story for another time.
Yeah.
All right.
What you got, Hardy?
Yeah, you want to put somebody on there?
The opening drive was mine, so Paul took mine, so I'll go to my second. That was Hunter Henry.
Yeah.
Hunter Henry was
I had
outstanding
Hunter Henry
today.
on my list, too.
Me too.
8 catches on 9 targets for 92 yards. He has become, the only thing close to dependable in terms of a target for Drake Maye. And, there was the one offsides penalty that you can't afford, especially if you're Hunter Henry. You're a veteran. You can't not know the snap count. I get it. That was you could see Gerod Mayo was really frustrated with Henry after that call. But in terms of being a weapon, he's it. He's it in terms of somebody that Drake Maye can look forward to come down with a catch and help him move the chains a little bit. So Hunter Henry is my first good.
Yeah, it's almost. It's a kind of a cliche, the veteran tight end of supporting the rookie quarterback, but some big catches for Hunter Henry. Another big game for him, 90-something yards receiving. So, yeah, he's been the safety blanket, and hopefully that relationship can continue to grow.
That deep one down the seam, that catch was sick.
Yeah,
yeah,
he was covered like a blanket on that play, kind of head topped. Darnell Savage.
Yeah,
he's been really good, and he was really good today.
All right, what else you got, Deuce? Oh, come on, kid.
I got nothing else.
Come on.
That's it.
I got nothing else either.
Come on. Hold on.
Usually Paul's got some nuance of like the second quarter. No.
Let me check.
No, there
you
it
can
is.
see the list. I checked all the 3 off. The goods, the goods over here.
Yeah. No, that was it. I mean, where else you gonna point to? Not
dearie,
special teams.
dear.
I mean, Joey Slye did make all his kicks though, didn't he?
Yeah, let's put him on the good list.
I guess if you wanted to just sort of individual play. Like Hasty makes a nice little catch and run for the touchdown. But
Yeah.
we're talking about a play.
Play.
Right.
Yeah, I get
It's not enough.
nothing.
No.
It's not enough. All right, let's get to it. It's Deuce,
Yeah.
you're up again.
I
Your
mean,
first bad.
Take your pick on the defense. I mean, I don't know where to point the finger. I guess I'm just going to start by pointing at the coaching. I just think it's a big thing. I'm not even really going to pick on too many individual defensive players, but this is everything that's been happening in the last couple of weeks, and they look powerless to stop it. They got run over for 150 yards plus, third week in a row. They had no answers today. I mean, at one point we looked at Paul and he said, really, the only plays they made to a certain point were just incompletions that Jacksonville kind of dropped,
Lawrence throws one off of Kyle Duggar's face mask.
Yeah.
For one incompletion. Tank Bigsby drops a screen for another one. Christian Kirk, may not have gotten that second foot in bounds. They didn't have any failed plays.
No.
Until Jacksonville inexplicably decided not to make it a 3-score game and went for it on fourth and less than a yard. And then the Patriots stopped them. That was it.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, a couple those red zone stops, you could look at the stats and say those looked okay. But I mean, after that first drive, they didn't force another punt until the fourth quarter.
Red zone stops on 11-minute, 22-second drives. They don't do much for me.
And that points to it. I mean, that 11-minute drive, this is where the game's in the balance. This is where you're kind of scrapping your way back into it, or you're holding on by a thread at least. They couldn't make the plays. They can't. Were there any real pressure? Was there any? There's none of that. Like we said, with the run defense especially, I guess I'll put that in the crosshairs at the top too. It's just you're not going to win football games if you can't stop the run.
Well, the pass defense, just as a collective may have been up there too. But Trevor Lawrence only attempted 20 passes. They didn't have to.
But he threw for 200 yards on 20 passes.
Right. I mean, it was just
that's
8-9 yards
unbelievable.
a clip. It felt like at a certain point, every time they get the ball, even when it was competitive, they were getting 4, 5, 6 yards.
Do you feel like if Jacksonville decided to do what they did, there was one stage in the fourth quarter, I think they ran the ball something like 18 straight plays.
Yeah.
Do you feel like if they threw it 18 straight plays, the results would have been the same?
Probably.
Because I do.
No, yeah. I mean, I
think they could have done anything they wanted.
It looked all day like that. And I mean, let's call it what it is. That looked to me like the worst defense in the NFL out there on the field today.
That has to hurt, Mike.
It does hurt. But you know what? I'm a fan of extremes, though. So
if
it's going to be bad. I want it to be
and
really
hyperbole.
Reactionary extreme.
I don't want it to just be like, well, it was bad, but it wasn't if you're going to be bad, you got to be really bad, and they were.
No, I agree with everything Mike said. I don't have anything to add.
Defensively, I mean,
it just wasn't competitive.
We have added, Paul. Yeah. Don't sell yourself short. We both added to it, but it's time to move on. We have a lot to get to on this.
364 yards, and I think it could have been more. They just kept, they lost a possession with the punt return. Otherwise, that would have been another 90-yard drive.
I mean, they averaged 4.5 a running play, but it seemed like that's low. I mean,
because it got off to a reasonable. The first couple of runs were stuffed. I thought they came out. The first drive that was a 3-and-out. It was run, and they got nothing. And then all of a sudden, it changed, and it changed because they started throwing the ball on them. And once they had success throwing the ball.
I get the feeling that all of a sudden we might see a shift this week, especially on you guys' shows, which I guess I'm kind of part of it now too. So on our shows,
on our shows.
But it's wow, the offense. I mean, it wasn't an absolute disaster for Drake Maye and the protection, and now everyone's going to come for the defense and what that means and why it got this bad and all. I mean,
it's already bad.
I just want to make a preemptive strike about the offense a little bit. I would wholeheartedly agree that with Drake Maye playing, it's different. So I look at it different. I had Drake Maye on my good list. I agree with everything that Mike said about Drake Maye. The bottom line is the offense, this is now 2 weeks in a row, has been very similar in production to what it was.
Yes.
They don't score. They don't move the ball.
Yeah.
Consistently for the game. You're sub 300 yards of total offense. This week was even, I think, more glaring than last week in terms of you piled up about 100 yards that were meaningless. Yeah. At least last week, there was more time left when you scored. This week it was kind of you just get up an 11.5-minute drive. You haven't done anything since the first quarter, and all of a sudden you have a 32-yard seam route to Hunter Henry that he makes an unbelievable catch on, followed by a 33-yard pass to Kayshon Boutte. They did nothing basically for the last 3 quarters of this game.
It's a
offensively.
great preemptive strike. I feel like everyone's just sick of talking about
But
killing
everybody-
the offense now.
oh, no,
and so
today-
now they're going to be like, now it's time we're going to kill this defense.
Yeah,
for
and the
next
difference
week.
to me today from last week is today you got off to a really good start offensively. You were really, really good in the first quarter. You set the defense up for success. The defense let you down today. Whereas last week, the defense kind of got hung out to dry by the turnovers.
Yeah, sure.
You know?
Yeah, you didn't do that, and they
But
still.
this, to me, was every bit as bad as last week defensively. And the offense helped them early on. So, yeah, there was just nothing really
They
good.
can't get off the field.
They can't get off the field. What was it? 6 for 10? Seemed worse than
I mean,
that.
it does seem worse than that. I think
That
that
one
was-
drive, that 11-minute drive, had like 3 or so
Yeah.
right in a row, third down conversions.
Yeah, 3.
We're supposed to be doing the good list here, guys. Come on.
No,
You know,
we're
it's
doing
right-
the bad list.
Oh, that's right, the bad list. Sorry, I'm sorry. But we got off the good list so quickly, I couldn't even believe we were already onto the bad list. All right, so I
So
think
defense-
a lot of
Yeah, it's
a
just
lot of that.
at all.
At all.
Okay, so everything encompassing the defense, but when you're talking about offensively and you know where things go wrong, beyond that first drive, because on the first drive, multiple receivers targeted, you know, multiple players employed.
Involved. Yeah,
Involved.
absolutely.
But if you're going to start going bad on the offense, Paul, not that this is your first bad, but I'm curious as to where you start.
I would start with Jalen Polk. You know, and this is he's a rookie, and I
Right
get
there.
it. And
Right there.
I had a whole thing this week, you know, and I'm not like the kid's played now 7 games. I'm not out on Jalen Polk. I'm still not out on him, but it's not trending in the right direction. And I was a little troubled, Mike, and Mike and I talked about this during the week, and I was very surprised that Mike agreed with me on this because it's something that normally we would be a little at odds.
And he's a contrarian.
He is.
I shan't be
A
a
sneaky
is.
contrarian.
See? What? So there was a couple of things, and I mentioned, you know, he had the clips that he's like, you know, putting up about the referees are screwing him, you know, with these plays that are clearly out of bounds.
Right.
And then I went back to that comment, like he got really mad at the fans because they're not with him. You know, if they're not with us, we don't want them. You know, like you haven't played a game yet, bro.
Right.
You know, and now the most recent thing, which at the time I made this rant that I'm talking about with Mike, I didn't even know about yet because it hadn't happened. Gerod Mayo says, yeah, you know, he's fighting it a little bit. He's got a mental hurdle he's probably got to need to get over a little bit after the drops last week.
Yep.
He responds by saying, I don't have any mental issues. I had the best hands in football. Then he goes out and drops the first 2 balls thrown in his direction today.
Correct. So 2 things about that bother me. Number 1 is the best hands in football thing. There's one thing to have confidence, and there's one thing to just, you know, speak, you know, in Mike Dussault-esque hyperbole.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's crazy. But the fact that he can't make a distinction between his head coach saying something as innocuous as, you got a mental block there,
Right.
and him taking it as, I'm not crazy.
I'm not soft.
I don't have anything mentally
I'm not mentally
wrong.
soft.
Yeah, what are you calling
Yeah.
me, like some kind of mental defective here? No. No one's saying that, Jalen. That is not at all what is being said about you. But to take it so personally and to take it so seriously, where he's trying to help. He's trying to help you. He's saying you're a good player. He's saying you've got good hands. It's just a little confidence issue. Get over that. You should be taking that as a positive as opposed to getting your feathers ruffled over it. To me, that really
That
rubbed a
validated
nerve
what
with
Mike
me.
and I were talking about during the week when he had that comment about Mayo. Like, you know, like
Nuh-uh.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't have any mental problems.
I know.
Oh, God.
So I think we figured it out last week. It was 10 catches on 23 targets or something like that.
Yeah.
So he was 0 for 3 today. 3 targets, no catches. That doesn't count the 2-point conversion that he slips and falls on.
Yep.
It was a slippery field.
It was. So he's just not. He's not been reliable for them. And I thought if there was one word I could put on him out of training camp, Mike knows that I'm not.
Yeah.
Wasn't super high on him. But the one thing I would say that I was impressed with was his reliability. He was dependable. You threw it to him, he caught it. It wasn't always the biggest gains, but he caught it.
Right.
Now we're having problems making connections with him. The off-field stuff is a concern with him. Yeah, he's trending in the wrong direction.
What hurts is you need him right now, and that's, you know, you're not going to get very far with just Hunter Henry and, you know, Douglas, 2 catches, 14 yards. I don't know if they gave him any specific attention. I know he was kind of in and out during the game, which is something
Douglas?
Douglas.
Yeah, he had an
worth kinda
illness,
looking at.
and I should mention that Polk ended up not finishing the game with a head injury.
Head injury.
And they declared him late in the game as being out for the game. So I don't know what's going on.
They need that guy, though. They need somebody on the outside. And, I mean, you're not going to be able to get it done with just a tight end and a slot receiver. And they're waiting for one of these guys to step up. Booty's one big catch a game. That's not going to make it happen.
Yeah, he wasn't open today. A couple times they looked his way. One of them was got erased by a penalty. But the one time he got open, he made the play down the field. But there was a couple of balls thrown in his general direction. I don't know if they were necessarily targeted to him. But he didn't look like he was as open today as he was at times last week. Yeah, I think
tight ends and backs.
They need somebody else.
They need a receiver to step up.
Okay, I'm gonna throw one out here on the bad list, and I want you guys to explain to me why it's not all that bad, or why I'm looking at it the wrong way.
Okay.
But I have Rhamondre Stevenson on my bad list today.
Yeah.
Okay.
I won't necessarily push back on that.
But this is a case of, and we've talked about this many times over the years. Philosophically, we're looking at this from a very Patriot-centric standpoint of the game. If you're watching this game as a neutral observer, do you say Rhamondre Stevenson had a bad game, or the Jacksonville run defense was very good?
I get it. You got a little existential crisis there you got going on. Yeah,
because what more did you
both?
What more did you want him to do today that he didn't do? It's not like he fumbled the ball.
Nope.
It's not like he was running backwards and trying to improvise. There were plenty of instances today where there was just nowhere for him to go.
I would agree with that. Mike, he wasn't necessarily on my list, but I'm not. I don't think it was like a. What are you, crazy? He had a great game. No. 7 for 18.
That's kind of how I felt about
38 rushing yards total for the team today.
It was kind of how I felt about the defense too, where it was just like
18 of them from Drake.
A faceless bad effort.
Yeah, your running backs combined for 20 yards today.
Yeah, I mean the game, which is weird, because you thought.
Can you believe that? I'm looking at it. It's right here.
It's over here for me.
I mean, you would have thought after they got out to a 10-point lead that they'd have more than 15 carries in the whole game.
No, they couldn't run the ball. I think they wanted to throw it to get a lead, Mike, and get off to a good start with Drake Maye, and then they wanted to sort of mix in the run. And you had mentioned in the middle of your Drake Maye boost that the play calling. I didn't think there was really anything wrong with play calling today.
Yeah.
I just don't think they executed it all in the last 3 quarters.
It might have literally just boiled down to a couple like first and second down throws on those middle possessions where they ended up having a punt where it just felt like
he got a little wild in the middle of the game.
Or there was a couple. I mean, there was one drive they went backwards. I think that might have been the first punt that they
had. Like even the field goal drive, I thought he had Bourne coming across, and he kind of threw a wobbler. It looked like it came out of his hand a little funny, a little bit out in front of him. I thought it could have been caught, but it wasn't a great throw. I thought he got a little away, but yeah, I mean, they didn't run the ball well at all today. Not at all.
Well, where else do you want to go on the bad list there, Deuce?
God, I feel like I'm just so mad at the defense. Can I go back to them again?
Yeah.
No, I just big plays again, and that's maybe it's under the same umbrella as what I said earlier.
The bomb was a big play in the game. I thought it turned momentum.
Yeah, I mean it's just they can't stop the big plays, and that's when you talk about fundamental defense, Hardy, when you're teaming up in the pregame show, and that's. It's one thing to be bad at tackling, but then if you start giving up big plays, it's pick your poison right now in a bad way for the Patriots defense. They can't get off blocks. They can't make tackles for losses in the run game. They can't really put the offense in in bad situations. Everything just felt like the whole game from that first possession on was Trevor Lawrence and the Jags kind of dictating what they wanted to do. And they got a penalty, so all right, but they just made it right back up with another 8-yard run. So big plays.
The bomb, the pass to Thomas,
58 yards.
Okay, which set up the second.
I mean, let's put Gonzo in there. Maybe we can put Gonzo.
Yeah,
in.
I had zero bomb. That whole sequence, because that's a 6-play 82-yard drive, something like that.
Watching it in real time,
6 for 82.
I had the same thought that you did, Paul, which was the coverage wasn't bad on that.
Yeah, then I saw the replay.
And then you see that Thomas he gets behind him, and let's give Trevor Lawrence credit here.
Good throw.
What a pass.
Yeah.
Good throw and good catch.
Yeah, good throw, good catch, but that is the momentum changer for that game. You jump out to a 10-0 lead, and after that pass, you put the Jags in position to take the lead 14-10.
I agree with you.
And that's it. That's a
good throw too to Christian Kirk. I thought, like I said, if Jacksonville wanted to make this, like a 40 pass attempt game, I think it would have been 32-16.
Yeah.
I just think they could have done whatever they wanted. And that was too easy, by the way. Was that the first touchdown, the one to Thomas?
Wide open right in the middle.
That was way too easy. He was wide open right off the snap. You could see it on the television screen.
You didn't need the all-22 for that?
I didn't need the all-22.
No.
I just needed 2 eyes. I only needed 2, not 22.
Here it comes.
There and man.
So you
What a
watch
throw,
that,
what
and
a
you see
catch.
here's where you can see how much he gets beat by. Look at that's a lot of separation right there.
Yeah, that's 2 full steps.
And if the throw was pretty good, but I think if the throw was more toward the middle of the field, he might catch that in stride, and it might have been a touchdown.
It's a lot on Gonzalez right now, but they need more from him. I mean, the last couple of weeks, if they're going to be this bad on defense, you just have to be able to count on something. And right now, he's just a little bit off with these really good receivers. Diggs last week on the touchdown, similar kind of play this week. Brian Thomas, the youngster Brian Thomas just kind of had the edge on him all day.
And unfortunately for Gonzalez, it's not like things got easier for him within the division this past week. I mean, it's
why
just,
did someone get a new star receiver?
Yeah, it's a couple of teams, a couple of guys. Worry about that.
And I keep saying the same thing with Gonzalez, and I know people think I'm a broken record, and I am. But when I see the locked up one-on-one, I see that a lot. And I wonder if that's why they don't lock him up one-on-one with the other team's best receiver. I know the announcers say it every week, but Evan comes in every Tuesday and tells me that that's not the case.
Yeah.
He comes in with numbers of how many times he's man-to-man on the other team's number one receiver, and it's not anywhere near as often as it's sort of made out to be in the aftermath of these games. You had someone on Twitter today claim that Michael Wenu allowed his first sack of the season as a tackle. I'm like, I'm sorry, that's not true. I don't care if you credited him with giving up a tackle. He's given up tons of pressures and in sacks.
I thought it was
this year.
I thought it was pronounced Aunu, which is how I heard it on the telecast today, or something else along with City Sue. Sue. Not.
So do you have a bad that you'd like to contribute to this group melange?
I got a special teams. I mean, the 96-yard punt return is not great.
Oh, jeez.
So I would add to that 96-yard punt return, which obviously is completely unacceptable, but then you go offside on the extra point, which allows them to go for 2. Right? That's quite a little.
That's a
a double whammy.
Quite a little double whammy.
That's
Thank you.
Pop, pop, bang. It's really.
I miss Hardy. Sorry, Matt.
By the way, Matt Smith calling in today for the pregame. Great to have him here, and Matt Smith will, of course, return.
And we will have the interim host back next week, presumably.
What?
Matt Smith is the interim host.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
No,
that's right.
In all seriousness, I know he's not listening, but I'll say it anyway. He's doing a great job, and we're having some fun. Mike and I are pulling the fun out of him.
You know what?
He wanted to be really serious at
Let's
first. We're trying to rip the fun right out of him.
Let's rewind a little bit. Let's put Matt Smith on the good list for his pregame phone in. You know what? Yeah, he gives good phone.
He gives good phone.
Whoa, what was that, Paul?
I don't have any other bads.
No, I mean.
Paul, you have any other bads?
I could spend the next hour talking about how bad the defense was, but yeah.
So, I think we exhausted the decision to go for 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that ended the game. That ended the game with 8:22 left. I think
that doesn't even necessarily belong on this show talking about in the game because I hate it in general.
Yeah,
hate it.
4th and 3 from their own 37. Early in the second half, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
They do the fakakta. We're going to try to draw them off.
Nobody's buying that thing anymore.
That old gag.
Yeah.
No.
Scott.
No, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. All right. Injuries. Robinson went down early.
Yeah, he went out. Gibson was out.
Gibson came back, but he was out quick. I don't think Robinson came back, though.
No, I think
it looked like an ankle,
City
maybe.
Sosu.
Yeah. Daniel Laquale, I wouldn't be surprised if we're hearing head.
Yeah.
Did he ever come back?
I didn't see him.
He took a good there was that 11-minute drive. He was involved in one of those run stuffs at the end inside the 10, and he took a good hit.
Yeah.
Pop Douglas.
Watch. That's not it.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Douglas.
Well, he wasn't sick.
That's not our broadcast either.
He was sick, and then he wasn't sick because he was in the game, and then he got sick again.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I'd be curious to see what his snaps are, the snap total. I don't think that'll be out yet.
No.
But, yeah, I didn't really notice that because the Patriots possessed the ball so infrequently in that sort of stretch from
Second
quarter through the 10-minute mark of the fourth quarter. They almost never had the ball, so I didn't realize how infrequently Douglas was on the field.
Yeah.
But I guess he was dealing. Steve Weiss said he was dealing with an injury.
You think
And
about how
Jalen Polk we mentioned,
and how much time they possessed the ball on their first two possessions, which went for scores.
that
and
was
then
crazy.
The time of possession ends up being 33-15 versus 26-45 for the Patriots. So that tells you how much they possessed the ball after those scoring drives.
Just figure that out. That was something you were like, this is great. The time of possession is crazy on the Patriots side, and then it just completely swung.
I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, I'm gonna be home in time for a late lunch.
Dinner. Oh, all right.
No.
Okay.
All
Supper?
right.
It is so weird.
You have supper on Sundays? You sup.
No, we don't do that.
It is supper.
Supper. Dog has supper.
Dinner. Supper?
For some reason, we call it supper for the dog.
Really?
Yeah, breakfast and supper. Did she have her supper? All right, because it's early. It's 5 o'clock. You know what? That little scamp will start asking for her supper about 4:30.
Oh, woof. Come on.
Woof. Yeah.
It's too early. Is it an elderly dog, though?
Doggone it. No, she's not elderly. How dare you?
Getting the blue plate special.
What a card.
Mike, you're in an absolute caution. Paul, you're a panic. And we're gonna
I hate when I'm not involved.
We just haven't gotten a Bayou quote. That's the only thing we haven't checked that one yet, but we'll get there.
Booty ran by her though.
I did, and I was but I was watching the game separately from you two. Tamara and I went in and watched it on an actual big size television, but I did her the service of not making the Bayou joke.
No.
When
she must have missed it.
You know what that?
No, she didn't.
That Hunter Henry passed down the seam. You know what that allowed me to do, Mike, is to extend my streak of playing the trends.
Oh, there you go. I love it. Oh, good one, Paul. I appreciate you on that one because I don't know if I would take it week to week. You did. I owe you. I owe you one.
Let's take some phone calls here. 855-PATS-500. Get the emails rolling in here to podcasts, plural, at patriots.com. We'll go to Kevin in Nashville to get us started here on the Patriots Postgame Show, which is presented by DraftKings. Go ahead. What do you got for us, Kevin?
Hey, can I just rip like 2 or 3 takes real quick?
Yeah. As long as it's not about the 2 minutes.
Matt Hardy, it's good to see you back. You're way better than Matt. No offense, Matt.
No, that's not true.
It is true. Anyway, Jalen Polk can't catch a ball. That's very unfortunate. Also, Jawan Bentley being out is apparently the biggest thing ever because they can't stop the run. So that's an issue. And then also, Drake Maye, it seems like whatever he does well, the team just is not ready for what he does.
Team is not. I don't know if I understand that last point, Kevin.
Well, it seems like he's like, even if he plays well, also the Pop Douglas thing spazzed me out today because I was like trying to figure out what was going on. I was like, why is he not on the field? I was checking Twitter, and they were like, oh, he's sick. And I was like, then why do you play the first 5 reps of the game and then not come back on?
Yeah, sometimes this kind of gets a little inside football, and, we've had former players tell us, they can do things. They can do things for you to get you ready to play the game, and those things have a shelf life in terms of how long they're going to make you.
I would love to try those drugs.
Well, I'm just saying, even if it's like a dehydration issue, and there was talk of IVs going on for whatever he was dealing with, after a while it wears off, and if you come back out after halftime and you're like, I can't go, then you can't go. I'm not putting on Pop Douglas, but I think I know what you're saying, Kevin, about Drake Maye. I don't think he's playing beyond what his teammates and receivers are willing to do. He's certainly not there as a rookie.
He's not ready for that yet.
He's not ready for it. But
and that's what I'm saying. I think he's playing solid, but it's like if Pop's not on the field, who does he have to throw to? Because Polk's going to drop it. He's got KJ Osborne that'll catch a wide open pass. But I mean,
Hunter Henry. That's it.
They obviously need more weapons. But can we agree that he had opportunities to make some plays that he made bad throws on too? Right? Like, sure. I think he was really good based on this was his second career start.
Yeah.
Like, not really good, like, in terms of NFL quarterbacks. He was good for where he is in his development.
Right.
He misses a lot of throws, but he also makes throws that just get dropped or picked, and it's like.
Yeah, I don't really see that all that often, to be honest with you. I didn't see
You don't
Polk,
see people dropping it?
Polk dropped 2 passes. Who else dropped one?
Yeah. It's a good question.
Right, because it didn't happen. This is my point. Like, he had Bourne coming across the middle wide open and overthrew him. You know, like, like I said, Drake Maye is right where you want him to be as a guy who's making a second career start. But let's not, like,
one of
put
Polk's,
it all on everybody else that they're not more productive.
Oh, no,
Part of it is on him.
I'm not trying to anoint him as like.
No, I know you're not. I know you're not, Kevin.
But
I know.
It seems like he's getting a little bit let down, but he's also at fault too. But I mean, honestly, the main thing was I was just blown that Douglas just was gone after the first.
It was surprising. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was shocked. I want to understand it in the aftermath. Kevin, thanks for the call.
I just real quick. I don't know if you already said this, but Andrew Callahan talked to Pop in the locker room. Said he's been vomiting all day, couldn't stand up at times or focus. Said it got worse throughout the day. So he's sick. He was fighting through.
Got a hold of some bad lamb.
Oh,
maybe?
like they said it on the broadcast.
Mutton.
Yeah.
That's
mutton. Great mutton.
I don't know. What do they eat?
Well, it's got nothing on this
You
mutton.
got something in your crumpet.
You went with a crumpet?
I don't even
know.
know.
Crumpet, Joe? You should have stuck with the mutton.
Mutton was better.
Mutton was working.
Yeah, it's probably more likely
the
to stick out the mutton.
The mutton played.
Mutton will play.
The mutton.
Yeah.
The mutton.
I overthought it.
That Super Cops theory, that was working.
No, one of the Polk drops was that across the middle where the ball was out in front of him a little bit, and he had his arms extended. Was that Polk?
Well, no, he had one. I think we're going to see the first one right here. That's a drop. Like, and I know that the defensive back comes over and he comes in and rapes in between.
Yeah.
You gotta catch that ball.
Yeah.
The second one I put on Maye.
Yeah.
The second one he was open and the ball was a little bit late and short.
Yeah.
And allowed, I think, your guy, dong, to come over and break it up. Right, this one. Oh, no, not that one. That play was whistled for a penalty. That was pass interference.
You love the instant throw the flag.
Well, that's
Please
help.
save me.
I think that was the pass interference. I don't quote me on that.
No.
Every once in a while, the all-22 does get me, so
Yeah.
I think that was the pass interference. But
And Deuce, the players only do that to help the officials. Sometimes they don't see the pass interference.
They're
and
like,
they're
oh,
just letting
thanks
them
for
know
that. I didn't realize.
that
It's a good point.
you should be throwing a flag here, guys.
Just so you know.
I don't want you to be embarrassed.
There was some cheating going on there, and you need to call it.
Exactly.
Put that on.
Let's go to Cameron in North Carolina. Hello, Cameron. Thanks for being on the Patriots Postgame Show with Hardy and Paul and Deuce. What do you got, Cam? Cam. All right, Cam's not there.
Was
Cam's not there.
Egypt's land.
Let my Cameron go. David
okay,
in
this
Florida.
is the one I was talking about.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
that
a hard one.
Yeah, this one I think.
Boom.
You see how he's backpedaling? He's open, and I think there's a little bit. I think there's a little bit of a problem there. I put that on both Polk and Maye. I thought
cover two shot
timing,
the
right?
cover two hold.
The timing was a little off there.
Yeah,
I thought he was open, settling in the hole, and the ball wasn't there in time. And by the time it was, the guy had come over, and
yeah,
like you could call that a drop. I think that's tough to put that on.
That's
tough
like
to
the
call
guys
that a drop.
exploding into your hands.
Tough catch, a little
That's why
late.
we're fair
I'm
and
sorry,
balanced
what?
here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dave,
Exploding into
You
your
see
hands.
what happens?
What? No,
When
it's like
you're
trying to
here,
make
he
the
works
catch with the
blue.
hands. I didn't.
David, I apologize for making you wait.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, David.
That would be my fault.
It's okay. How you guys doing?
Good.
So you want me to start with the positive or the negative take here?
A positive, please.
All right. So the positive I've come away with these last two games is that Maye is not Mac Jones, and that is at the very least really good. He does not need the situation around him to be. He doesn't need two top 10 receivers to put up 250 yards. He can do it with the guys we have, and that's good to see. You know, I'm glad he, limited some of the turnovers today, although he had a couple that probably should have been picked off. But, I think he's doing. I think, like Paul said, he's right where you want him to be.
Yep.
So for the negative side, is it fair to say this might be like the worst defensive showing since the wild card game?
Whew.
Because what did they have? One stop in the last three quarters?
Yeah, I think this has been consistent of the way the defense has played this season.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
I get what he's getting at. They did force 2 punts.
And
also
17
point out
foul balls.
They didn't get any punts.
Point out the fact that we've lost by 16 or more points in 4 of our last 5 games, and I have to also mention, like, I understand the circumstances and everything of what happened. It's, but of the 4 guys that were supposedly running the defense, I honestly think we kept 2 of the worst ones. Steve and Bill were, I think, the ones who sort of brought the whole game plan together, and I feel like Mayo and Covington were the ones who communicated it to the players, but I feel like they just don't have a game plan for the defense.
Yeah.
I was saying it to myself or anyone else who cared to hear me. I can't remember seeing a Patriots defense look like this for 7 games.
That's what I'm saying. I think this is, and I agree with David. I mean, I think this has been indicative though. Like the scores, like for as many points as they have allowed, they've been kind of fortunate to only allow what they've allowed. Like Christian Kirk barely being out of bounds on that play, and I would like to see a replay again to see if that first foot when he caught it was down. I think the foot that came down out of bounds might have been the 3rd foot. Obviously, they go for an 11-minute drive and come away with no points because they failed to block on the 4th down play. Like the Seattle game, all those drop passes that the Seahawks had in that game. Like there's a lot of stops, quote unquote, that the Patriots have gotten that they didn't have a whole lot to do with, and they're struggling. I think David's right. I think this is like wild card.
Yeah.
Like that 2021 wild card game. Like.
I'd like to. Paul, can I point out something that you had on your good list real quick?
Okay, sure.
I think you had AVP on your good list for a bit. I feel like.
Well, just for the start.
They got out for the start, yeah. The start, but like, what? I feel like we were running a lot of plays that are not, what's the word? Like, related to Drake May's skill set. Like, why are we running so many screen passes behind the line of scrimmage? Why are we running so much when we don't have a run game?
I don't think you ran the ball as often as you think you did today.
It felt like in certain
I think they attempted 12 runs. And I would say that the first touchdown's a screen. Like that's a blitz beating screen to Jermichael Hasty. Like yeah. When they don't work, you're like, why are you calling that? When it does work, listen, I would say that Alex Van Pelt, I gave him some credit for coming up with a good game plan, a good script. Well, that's only part of it. Like, you got to figure out what's going on the rest of the game. Once the game declares, you got to figure out how am I going to adjust and move the ball, and they had no answers. So by no means am I saying Alex Van Pelt painted a Picasso today. They got off to a good start, and then they went south for a while, and that's unacceptable. You got to be better than that.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
Just a little nuance, I think, Paul, to piggyback on something that you've been saying a lot about the defense was that you thought, because you hear a lot of people going like, how do you go from a top 10 defense to the worst? I think that they didn't quite start at that position. As you've pointed out many times, I think the last couple of years there probably were plenty of examples.
They've yet to play a backup quarterback.
Bill Belichick.
Sorry, they played one.
Of Bill Belichick out-scheming a backup quarterback. And I think that that's a big piece of some of their defensive success over the last couple of years was getting favorable matchups against backup quarterbacks, like you said, on more than a few occasions. And, give Bill credit. Certainly he knows the right game plan to go against those guys. But I don't know if the drop-off has been quite as dramatic as some people will make it out to be because of what their rankings were. But I think that they're a defense right now that's really struggling, in a variety of areas.
From hyperbole to nuance.
Yeah,
this Deuce kid over here, he's got range.
My autobiography. Well, I was just trying to, I don't know, was that the nuance? Paul's the one who points out the nuance all the time, which is just, you'll just look at the numbers and you say, well, this was a great defense last year. Was it? I don't know.
Would that be the title of your autobiography, From Hyperbole to Nuance?
Well,
it talks about your development as a human boy.
I've already got the title. I don't want to share it yet, though. So
Diary of Indignities.
Oh, I like it.
Isaac in South Dakota here on the Patriots Postgame Show. Hi, Isaac.
Hi, guys. So, talking about, wide receiver ones, wide receivers, what if we did, a trade for, Cooper Kupp, maybe?
Yeah.
A late round, some draft picks for Cooper Kupp. Not, early on, but somewhat cheap because I feel like he's going to be cheap since he's gotten injured the past 2 years. He hasn't played very much. And then
why do the Rams want to make that trade?
Yeah, would you guys consider making that trade for?
Oh, I would absolutely. If I were
would.
the Patriots, I would. If I were the Rams, I wouldn't. Why would the Rams want to trade Cooper Kupp?
Because he's been injured the past two. It's just because he's been so injured the past 2 years. He hasn't really played that much. I think Puka's coming back, I believe, and then I don't know why wouldn't they take draft picks for Cooper Kupp?
Because he's good.
And he's good, and I'll tell you something else, Isaac. I'm not giving up a third rounder for anybody right now because I think you can go find receivers in the third round.
Yeah.
Well, I just would look at it and say the Rams, they have a veteran quarterback. They're not looking to get rid of guys. No. Especially guys that are under contract.
Yeah, guys who are under contract and injured or not have shown to be
a good player.
Yeah, he's a good player, and it's like, oh, there's a guy that can catch the ball from our veteran quarterback. We're going to keep him. All right, let's step aside here for a moment. We'll continue with your phone calls here to 855-PATS-500 and your emails, podcasts, plural, at patriots.com. It's all brought to you here on the Patriots Postgame Show, which is brought to you by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the New England Patriots.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
Without good blocking, your team's not going anywhere. Cisco blocks cyber attacks for customers around the world, including the entire Fortune 100 and the NFL. Because when the game is on the line, and it's always on the line, the NFL relies on Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
By the time this Patriots fan is finished drinking his Pepsi, you'll be 15 seconds closer to game time. Patriots watching. Better with Pepsi.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
When someone accidentally threw away the school play costumes,
oh no!
Replacements were shipped with FedEx. And with picture proof of delivery, everyone could focus on the perfect opening night. FedEx, where now meets next. For residential delivery only.
You've got to watch your NFL team every Sunday, and Verizon's got you covered for all your team's out-of-market games every Sunday afternoon. Come on! From kickoff to sign-off, from first downs and touchdowns to turnovers and overturned plays.
After review, the pass was incomplete.
Nice! Let's go! This season, win every Sunday with Verizon. Get a great deal on NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV and a new phone. Excludes digital-only games. Terms and embargoes apply.
Join the conversation by calling into the TPX hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com. Now, live from our studios, here is Matt Smith.
Matt Smith is he's in London. He called in earlier. It was great to hear from Matt.
Hope he didn't have the mutton.
Oh, man. There's a bad case of the muttons going around. Maybe for Demario Douglas. Who knows who else? Maybe that would explain a lot of things. Maybe a lot of the defensive players, and they just played through it. But, no, the Patriots suffer a loss today to the Jaguars, 32-16 in London. We're here doing the Patriots postgame show for you, which is presented by DraftKings. And we're going back to the phones. And we'll talk to John, who is in South Beach. Are you in South Beach or are you on South Beach, John? I remember asking you this question before, but I just want you to answer it again.
It's an important question. I am in South Beach, not currently laying on the beach, unfortunately.
Okay, and you've called into this program before.
Yes, I have, and Paul even gifted me the nickname Johnny South Beach, which I have embraced wholeheartedly.
That's a cool nickname.
That is accurate.
That is good. All
Johnny
right.
South Beach.
John, what do you got for us?
Couple quick things. First of all, hearing your dulcet tones today, Hardy, makes the loss hurt 5% less. You're no shade to Matt, but Hardy is the one that got away. I kind of want to swear something before everybody starts like discussing it on Twitter and fighting about it on the radio. On that near pick throw to Osborne, immediately Zoe is like screaming that Osborne didn't run a good route, and then everyone on Twitter is like, Maye didn't throw the ball quick enough, good pass breakup, blah blah blah. What, from your guys' perspective, actually happened on that play, and who's the most to blame?
I'd like to see it again.
Can we
if
put it
can.
up? I'll break it down for you live. Maybe we could get the chat.
I really look forward to this. Can you get a telestrator out for Mike?
No, we're gonna look at it here, hopefully, and we'll come to a consensus here among the three of us as to whether or not it was a bad pass, a bad route, or just bad luck. My gut tells me that the route maybe was a little bit off. I'm trying to remember in my mind's eye, but I'm hesitant to say one way or the other without looking at it again.
I can tell you, Zoe was screaming, saying that Osborne is supposed to cut more towards the quarterback on that route, and I was like, I love Zoe, but he's a little QB.
Right.
Oh, he's QB-centric,
He's always going to blame
of
the
course.
wide receiver. Right, bad route.
Right.
Especially this QB.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have been as forgiving if it were Brissett making the same throw.
Now, the good news is, I'm sure Drake Maye, who we'll hear from here in a little while, did not put the onus on his receivers a la Aaron Rodgers last week, talking about, you got a red line.
Well, you got to red line it.
You got to red line it, and it has nothing to do with, I think it was Andrew Callahan who said, maybe take some accountability for throwing a no-look pass 40 yards down the field. And, maybe take some of it on yourself. But, I think these are all part of the learning curve for these guys getting together and getting first-team reps for only, the third week now, third week, getting the majority of them and figuring things out. It's his second start. And I'll give you something else that Zoe has said, which I happen to agree with. And if you go back and look at starts from quarterbacks, there's something to it. You need 3 starts before you can really make any kind of real determination. Let that quarterback have the game plan for a week. Let him get the install. Let him develop some rapport, if there is any, with the receivers. And then you start making decisions on what he's good at, what he's bad at. You can't do it after a game. And if you do it after 2 games, you're doing everybody a disservice, after 3 games. And then maybe we'll be able to make a better determination on specific things like that, John. It's a good question, though. We'll take a look at it.
Yeah, we'll break the film.
We'll let you know.
We'll grind it.
We'll let you know.
We'll grind it out.
Anything else, John?
Well, since you're on, Hardy, I've been waiting to share my favorite Hooper quote for when Austin Hooper has a good game, but I just don't think that's going to happen, so I'm just going to share it anyway. It's when Hooper's standing in front of the boat, and he says, "Don't give me any of that working-class hero crap." I think it's basically the best, most characterized line in Chop.
Yeah, and they're not in front of the boat. I believe they are in the shop. They're in Quinn's shop.
I was boiling.
Oh, they are. I mixed that up with the Hooper USOB line. I mixed those up.
Yeah. I like the subtle under his breath. I don't think so. Just passive aggressive.
Yeah,
Hooper.
I like that
yeah,
too.
you think you know it all, salty dog fisherman, but I have a degree.
Yeah.
And I'm going on the Aurora.
It's a floating asylum, is what it is. John, thanks for the call.
Which still doesn't really.
What?
Not like it doesn't make any sense. Like it's a floating asylum.
Well-
Like,
Well, Mrs. Brody thinks it's hysterical.
Well,
She is.
in the book. They got after it together, so maybe
yeah,
that's a
you-
vestige.
that's
of,
it, right?
I
You know?
didn't know that until you told me about it, and now watching her react to him, I wonder if there's
a
something in the
subplot.
director's
there was
cut.
something there.
Subplot
There's
that
something there.
I mean, Miss Brody, she's
You love you love sharks.
Yeah, well, she was already feeling it earlier. She was like, "Chief, you want to fool around?" And he was like, "Sure." He didn't really seem that much into it, so you could see where they're planting the seeds of, Miss Brody. She's looking around for a little action, I think.
Yeah.
And in 2, there's a clear inference.
pregnant.
There's a clear inference to me that the hotel guy, the business, the hotel business guy, and and Ellen is like the PR person. There's something there,
Right.
right?
And then in 4, she's got
I don't know
Michael
what we
Caine.
do without
It's
he's-
like Brody's body isn't even dry. She's jumping to Michael Caine,
Ah,
just playing around the Caribbean.
Hoagie.
But
Which,
Hoagie, I mean,
credit to Michael Caine for still being willing to make time with her with that haircut, because that haircut is a
bad.
crime against humanity.
No,
That was bad. And
Bob, forget it.
credit to Michael Caine for still accepting checks for these roles.
I mean, she stabbed the shark with the boat. All right. You guys say so.
Matt in Des Moines on with us now. Go ahead, Matt. Thanks for calling Patriots Postgame Show.
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me. So just a couple questions. First, so how, when was the last time you thought that the defense really looked like this consistently bad? I mean, and then the next question is, Gerod Mayo attributes this a lot to coaching. And when do you think that, at what point can we actually, like, say it's not working, we need to shake something up with coaching? Because, I mean, if it's this consistently bad and we're having all these mistakes week after week after week, I mean, when can we expect it to get better? I'll take it off air.
All right.
I mean, I'm looking back at 2020. I mean, and we always talk about 2020 as kind of a year where you're like hitting the reset button on the defense. And I don't think anyone was really expecting that.
No, you're right.
I
That was a bad defense.
They were a bad defense. Just looking at some of their scores.
Just a bad year.
Yeah,
So when can it get better? I really think it could be better next year. Like, how much better? I don't know. I think you can sort of make the jump from obviously where you are right now, which is not very good. I think you can make the jump from that to competitive in 1 year. And I think I think that it's going to require a good draft and some shrewd free agency moves. You can't just do one. I know this whole notion of we're a draft and develop team. Like, yeah, that's great, and I like that philosophy. I think they need to do better with their young players than they have, in terms of developing. But you can't just do that. You need to spend some of that money and get some talent in as well, some proven talent. And I don't think that they've taken enough advantage of those opportunities. But I think that they can. Listen, you draft a left tackle, in the first round. Maybe you pick up a veteran receiver and draft a receiver that hit. And all of a sudden you can be, a competitive team next year. I don't think you're going to be necessarily a playoff team overnight, but it can happen quickly. It can happen quickly. I don't think it has to be just, over because they're rebuilding.
Yeah, they were the worst run defense according to DVOA in 2020, 32nd, 26th overall, but you still look at points, 7th in points, 15th in yards. I mean, they still had a little something. So I think that there's probably an argument to be made this defense is the worst one in a long time.
Deshaun in Virginia on the Patriots Postgame Show. Hi, Deshaun. What's going on?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Good. Basically, what I wanted to say is that I think y'all guys are not going to be the same week in and week out because there's a talent deficiency problem, mainly in the trenches. They can't rush the passer, nor can they stop the run. And on the other side, you can't protect the quarterback. So as long as that keeps happening, it's going to be more of the same. People talk about Gonzalez, and I look at the way how they play him. I'm not really a huge fan of it. The outside technique, not putting the hands on the guy or whatever. I mean, I think you should really utilize his skill set. I think they really don't do that or whatever. So there's certain things. As the coach mechanism is a problem, and there's a talent deficiency problem. Until those get addressed, the problem will never be fixed.
Well, I mean, the talent up the middle right now defensively, and Paul talked about it in the pregame show, that's not going to be fixed overnight. When you're talking about Gonzalez and how they're playing things, schematically in the secondary, maybe that's something that can be addressed. But again, personnel issues, if you're talking about more than 2 positions, this is something that's going to be a process.
No, I agree, and it's you can't just like snap your fingers and be done. And I know people look at this, and I do too. I'm guilty of it. Like, well, it's post Brady, so it's year 5. Like, and it is. That's right. I'm not telling you you're wrong for thinking about it that way, but it's a little unfair to Gerod Mayo and Elliott Wolf to look at it that way, because they're just getting the opportunity right now to do this on their own. And we'll see if they end up doing it right. Now, it's not off to a great start. I think that there's been. So I think there were opportunities lost last year. Re-signing all of their players like they did, I'm not going to kill that, but like they didn't augment it with really anything. Mm-hmm. What did they bring in? Like Antonio Gibson?
Yeah, Antonio. I mean,
like how much? I mean, maybe Jalen Hawkins a little bit.
I mean, I can run it right down for you. I mean, most of them just.
But I'm talking about contributors, and
no, I know.
And the draft has not like really yielded anything beyond May.
Austin Hooper. I mean,
Hooper drives the boat, Chief.
Yeah. But I mean, between Leverett didn't work out, Armon Watts didn't work out, Okora Ford didn't work out. Taki was a healthy scratch today. He got a 2-year deal. And a lot of these guys that you extended, I mean, Bourne, you're just starting to see him, but Onwenu hasn't had a great year. KJ Osborne has kind of been an afterthought. Stevenson's been in and out of that lineup and had some fumble issues. David Andrews is out.
I agree with you.
Jabril Peppers is out. I mean, Godchaux looks pretty good. I mean, that's one piece that he looks like a piece of it. Now I'm just talking overall guys that you made an effort to give new contracts to over the last 6 months. Not a lot of them have worked out, and a lot of them that
I was just talking about like free agent additions. Like they made a decision to retain a lot of their own players, and that's fine. And I don't necessarily. I mean, some of them we talked about this all off season. Some of them I wouldn't have brought back, but individually, I'm not going to stand on a mountain and scream like, "How did you re-sign that guy?" But they didn't bring anything in to augment that.
Right.
No.
And you went 4-13. I argued with you and Evan a lot. Like, they're basically running it back with the same team, only they're changing the quarterback, and they think it's going to be a magic fix.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would be a magic fix.
Right, and I don't know how much credit you're going to get from people, from critics and fans alike, for re-signing guys that have proven themselves even in a little bit. Well, yeah, that's what you should do. The guys who can play, you keep here, unless there's someone out there, and in many cases there are, someone else who could truly augment that position, then you bring them in.
Right.
So, how about Eldred in North Carolina? Talk about sight for sore eyes or sore ears. Eldred, good to talk to you. There it is, my man.
Hey, fellas. Hey, Hardy. Glad to hear you back, bro. How you doing?
Hey.
Good to hear from you.
Yeah, Paul. Excuse me, Matt. Hey, I want to piggyback off the other guy, but Paul, you're right too. You can't kill Gerod and Elliott. I can kill Elliott for part of this draft, but the other 5, I put it on Bill and his GMing.
Yeah.
But Gonzo's a good corner, but Gonzo can't cover speed. And Brian Thomas was the 3rd wide receiver I wanted. Pope was nowhere near. I wanted Harrison or A.D. Mitchell or Brian Thomas, but we got Pope, and which go against what Eddie.
Wasn't Brian Thomas off the board in the middle of the first round?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't go to the middle, did he?
I think
he was a first-round pick, right?
Yeah.
I thought he was maybe. Yeah. Mitchell was a second-round pick. That's right.
Mitchell, there was something happened with Mitchell. I don't know what the story is, but he dropped in the draft. Like he went like a full round or so, a round and a half later than he was projected.
Pick 23 for Thomas.
Yeah.
Thomas was 23. Yeah, he was long
23,
gone.
okay. Well, I'm going. Well, my thing is this: everybody pump the brake. This is a rebuild. The rebuild start. Supposed to start with Bill, but he didn't do it.
Right.
So this is it. So we just out talent. That's all. Like I've been saying for years. Everybody used to shoot me down and say we need sometimes you gotta get the athlete. not the blue collar.
I couldn't agree more, Eldred.
Yeah.
Been saying that for years.
And Eldred, you've got the right attitude about it. A lot of people, though, are not willing to accept the fact that the rebuild wasn't done correctly going back several years now, and it's kind of like, okay, now it begins. Like, well, what have we been doing? You were supposed to be doing it, but you really
that's
didn't.
Why
or
I
you
said
did it
I don't
wrong.
think people that say that it's 5 years are wrong, because it has been.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been 5 since.
And a lot of these guys were here too, like Elliott Wolf and Matt Groh were part. I mean, I understand. Bill had final say. Bill, the roster, the makeup of the roster is on Bill.
No.
I understand that, but these other guys were part of the personnel department.
Right, and they had input on some of these
Paul.
draft picks that missed too, probably.
And Paul.
Yes, sir.
To me, he's still drafting like Bill. You getting the same people. To me, he's still drafting like Bill. That's why I said that during that draft.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if Bill would have
Well,
drafted May, but
Pope, no, he wouldn't. Yeah, he had to because he needed a quarterback. If he didn't, he was crazy. Unless he's going to try to run it with Zappy, and that's insanity. So
Yeah, I mean, I think he.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I know what Mike is saying because Bill wasn't overly complimentary of May in the draft, but that was also maybe an ulterior motive involved there. I'm just saying.
What?
Knowing that he was going to the Patriots.
no, that doesn't sound like him.
Eldred, great to hear from you,
have
my
a
man.
good one.
Thank
Same
you.
here.
Appreciate it. Oh, I love that.
Dude
horn.
for the Dolphins just recovered a fumble without a helmet.
That's good.
Sealer, Zach Sealer, big play.
I think David Montgomery got strip sacked in the Lions game, which is something you don't see all that often from a running back. Gets through the line and I don't know if it was one of the linebackers from Minnesota, like took the ball away from him and came down with it on the ground before Montgomery even knew what happened. Like, huh.
Yeah.
All right. So
I just
not
real
going
quick,
well
like
there.
to Eldred's point, like I'd like to feel good about something other than Drake May. I feel pretty good about Drake May right now.
I
feel
do
good.
too.
I don't feel good about anything else right now. That I don't like as much as you want to tell me about Gonzalez and Keon White and Pop Douglas and all that. It's not consistent and it certainly isn't getting better right now. And at some point they've got to turn the tide and put some plays together. And it's just right
Nothing
now.
else? What you got Halloween coming up? You feel good about that?
Not like I used to.
Yeah,
it's
I
more
know.
fun with it when I was a kid or when my kids were little. Now it's just about where are my kids going? Where are they going to run around?
The sweet spot was when the kids were in like middle school, a little older than that.
Yeah.
It became like a neighborhood thing.
Yeah.
You get the red Solo Cups going.
Oh, there
I've
you
had
go.
that the last couple years.
But now
You
nothing.
find that Halloween Central Street.
Yeah, and you know what really I don't know the neighborhoods you guys live. I don't. No one comes to my
No, we
on
don't
my
get
street.
anybody
Because I live on a small street. There's only a handful of houses. Oh, not only that, your boy got hurt, David Montgomery.
Oh, that's great.
There's not a lot. There's only like 8 houses on my street. There's like 4 on each side of the street.
what's
So
the
no one
point?
really comes down my street.
No,
An aristocrat.
Maybe if you get big.
I didn't get it medium rare.
Get them big candy bars, Paul. You get them down there. Perillo's got the king size.
Yeah, because a
Do you
lot
do-
of times
do you do the full size candy at your house?
No,
That's
because
that's why. Nobody does that.
no,
We
because
give
we
pennies.
don't. No, but
It's
like
a roll of pennies for you.
if
How
we
about
got
popcorn balls?
if we got the candy corn. If we get
Raisins.
if
Oh,
we got
I
the
like
full
candy
time,
corn.
if we got the full size candy bars, and then no one shows up, who do you think eats it?
Paul.
Me. Yeah. Like I don't want that.
Let me tell you, boys, 2 things, and then I swear we'll get back to the post game.
Oh.
Number 1, candy corn. If you're out, you're out. But if you like it and you're just okay with it, here's what I say: you get a can of Planters salted shelled peanuts.
Okay.
Dump those in a bowl, and then you dump about half a bag of candy corn in there, and you just grab a
Salty,
handful.
sweet.
It's about a 3-to-1 mixture. You need 3 to 4 half nuts or nuts with 1 candy corn per bite. Some people
Okay.
prefer more like a 2-to-1.
like
It's
that.
too much. It's too much candy corn.
It's too much.
It's delicious.
too much.
And number 2,
Mike,
I'm
it's too much.
gonna throw this one at you. I was at a friend's last night, and the woman brings out these. Oh, look at these Ritz crackers. They're dipped in chocolate. Aren't these delicious? We all tried one, and we said, we need peanut butter to dip this in.
Oh,
I went
hell yeah.
across the street because they didn't have any peanut butter in this house.
So Reese's-
communist.
so
I
peanut
brought
butter
my peanut butter back over, and that is a delightful treat.
Oh.
I don't think you want to hand them out for Halloween, but just for yourself.
Oh yeah, just
Okay.
sit down with some
Good
chocolate.
cracker.
Love it.
Yeah, delicious.
You get that? Did you get that reference?
Ritz cracker, good cracker. Eddie Murphy?
Oh, Andy Griffith.
Oh,
Commercial.
wow.
So that's why I
Jeez.
went to you. Mike pretends he's not as
that's
old
too
as I am,
old.
so
I'm not
I didn't
I'm
even
not
go to
a-
Mike.
You know, the Andy Griffith Show is one of my top 3 TV shows of all time.
It's a great show.
Andy, if you're going up to Mount Pilot, could you get me a new pair of scissors? Mark in Providence on the Patriots post game. Hello, Mark.
Mount Pilot.
Hey, looking at last year's season, to me, it didn't seem like a team that needed to be rebuilt. I mean, they lost 7 games by less than 7 points, and another game by 7 points. So 8 games by a touchdown or less.
You think when you go 4-13, you're not a team that needs to be rebuilt? When you lose to
Not
Tommy
really
DeVito
competitive in 8
and
games
Trevor
on top of
Siemian,
that.
like,
And if you watched all the games, Mac Jones was a huge problem. So, I mean, you were going to change the quarterback. You had a receiver, a left tackle, and keep adding to the defense. Now this team
That's a lot.
needs to be completely rebuilt.
But you needed all those things that you just said. That's a rebuild. Like you need a left tackle, a receiver, and adding to the defense. Like that's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot of stuff, Mark.
And that's not even taken into consideration. Does the quarterback work? Like did it pan out? Like we knew you took the quarterback at 3, but that doesn't mean it's going to work. A lot of teams, find themselves in that quarterback carousel.
Okay, but you move down from the 3, and you address your offensive line, and they got a ton of money. They could have brought in a couple of skilled guys to fill the other hole, and you still had all them other draft picks. I don't know.
What do you do at
looks like
quarterback?
it needs- All right, guys.
Okay, all right, Mark. I'll just say
I mean,
this.
I just don't know how you watched last year and you deceived yourself into thinking they only lost 10-7 to Tommy DeVito, so they weren't that far away.
Well, this comes from years of sitting at the
Gardner Minshew's 10-6. We're right there. Like they lost to one backup quarterback after another.
Right.
And yeah, the games were close because the other teams were all playing their backup quarterbacks.
And Deuce, maybe you've fallen under the same spell that I did. Now that you've been with Paul for as many years as I was.
No.
One of the things that just gets drilled into you and you absorb by osmosis is a team's record at the end of the year is the best indicator really of what they are. You can
I will
talk
say this.
yourself, and Paul taught me this. You can talk yourself, and they're really better than their 4-13 record would indicate. That almost every single time you look at the record at the end of the season, it's like that's what they were.
See, I could say like, well, you were 7-10 or 8-9, but we were a little better than that. We got buzzard's luck. We missed a couple of field goals that would have won games. When you're 4-13 or 13-4, it's hard to say you're not that good or you weren't that bad. Like that's a really dramatic, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like I agree with Hardy. Like you're 4-13. Okay, so maybe you should have been 6-11.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to it's tough to convince me that. Because of all those close games, you're really more like a 9-8 team. No, you weren't.
No.
A bunch of emails here, which now
Are you going to read the emails this time?
The electronic mail?
You know what? I'm not even going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I was going to
Deuce,
do
I
it.
think he's
I was
angry
going to
with
do
you.
it. No, I was going to do it earlier.
I
and
couldn't resist. He's disrespecting.
And
This
now
was not Hardy's fault. This was all on me.
I wasn't going to say it, Matt.
What?
Yeah.
You're hurting
See,
our boy.
LePan left us and usually forwards Hardy the emails. I forgot to do that.
Is everything all right?
Oh, yeah, he had something to do.
Oh, okay.
It was a nice event he had to go
Apple
to.
picking.
No, it wasn't apple picking.
He had to go do a little foliage.
Somebody else was apple picking. I saw on the Instagram during the game. Did you see that photo?
No. Who? Oh no.
Jim Murray.
No. Who right now is in the process of courtship and has to go do things like apple picking?
Oh God.
Even though he doesn't
Bill
have
Belichick.
even though he doesn't have young children, he has to go apple picking.
Is it Bill B?
Wow.
Wow.
Look it up.
It's got to be from yesterday. There's no way she got him out there on a Sunday.
Probably not, but oh boy, is it fun to look at?
At least he can afford it. That's the thing. It's like, how
apple
much?
picking ain't cheap.
Got 500 apples for $700.
I can't really think of very many things I would rather do less than apple picking.
My buddy Kyle Brandt had a good rant on it the other day
Loves
about
Kyle Brandt.
It's my buddy. But it's just like obscenely priced, and you get way more apples than you're ever gonna need, and it's silly.
Yeah,
That's silly.
But
Unless you like pies, making pies for your friends, maybe then it ends up being a deal. But
here's Ken. When we are dealing with a lack of performance on both sides of the ball, remind me of how much we are under the salary cap. How much are we under the salary cap? You guys know.
A lot.
Off the top of your head.
They're gonna have a good amount of cap space next year.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're under it right now, and that's probably a Miguel question. But they're gonna have a lot of room next year for sure. And I'm skeptical that they're gonna use it on weapons.
Yeah, they got to use it on something. And they've kind of extended everybody that's going to be extended, I feel like, at this point. There's not, most of this offense is going to come back. There's not really, a lot of pieces. Jonathan Jones, you could maybe say, is somebody that you would look at. But they did the heavy lifting last year.
That's tough to look at. I'm not going to lie.
Sorry,
Mike.
No, I saw it already.
I would say, did you already see it? Yeah. He went to a corn maze, too, because, sometimes they have a corn maze. They're at them apple picking places.
I mean, we've all been there, but with our kids, right?
I can't get out of here, and I don't even care.
Steve, Brian.
Yeah, he's got the headphones.
How the hell do you get out of this thing?
Ernie, I need a map of this maze right now.
Email from Jordan. He says, this team is an embarrassment through and through. Worst team in the league by a mile.
There you go.
I don't think we could beat Foxborough High. And I'm blaming the coaches. Fully. Drake Maye is out there doing his level best with no support. Team isn't playing hard. They're undisciplined. They don't play together as a team.
That's bugging me a little bit.
Well, hold on. I'm not even done. They're selfish. They're constantly infighting when they talk to the media. All the things are a product of a head coach and the culture he installs. Wow, now it's on to Mayo. At this point, I want
Mayo's
Mayo
under the gun.
And his whole staff to be done play calling. The culture is bad. Scrap it. Tear it down. Wow, this is
we've heard a lot of this. Mike and I get some periodic emails about it, and people are just like out on the new regime. Like they just feel like it's not working, and they need to they need to make a change. I don't think there's much of a chance of that, unless there's something really significant off field that happens. But that's not a completely unique take.
No.
I've heard that from time to time, which kind of surprises me.
I mean, that's what happens when you lose 6 in a row. It's first time in 30 years that's happened.
I think they said was kind of half listening to it at the end. I'm not going to lie. I was sort of in La La Land.
With Drew's first
time since before Kraft's ownership.
Yeah. Drew's first.
Yeah, they lost a bunch of games in a row that year.
Oh, there's Bill. We got that.
And they finished strong that year. They won the last 4. So maybe if they can get something like that, it could be. At least some hope moving forward if they finish the second half of the season. Like, I think part of the problem is there remains like a level of expectation that I don't think is commensurate with what they have.
Yeah.
Like, I heard people saying, they could easily they could easily be 6-6. Like, you're 1-5, and you think this team is capable of rattling off 5 out of the next 6? Like, I don't care who they're playing, but you think a 1-5 team can reasonably expect to win 5 of the next 6? I don't care who against. And I heard that on the radio. I heard, finding a way to win 6, 7, 8 games for the season.
Come on,
like, I'm sorry, but like the more likely situation is another 4-13. And the way it's going,
where those next 3 come.
I don't know what
Yeah.
Like, this was one that I thought you had a reasonable chance to win. This is another part of the whole expectation thing. How many guffaws did you hear this week? Jacksonville's favored by 5.5.
I was one of them. I was one of them.
And I just looked at him like, if you're matching up, if we're talking about Jalen Polk and KJ Osborne, Kendrick Bourne, and Demario Douglas. And everybody is like, they need a receiver. They need a receiver. Which one of those guys is better than Brian Thomas, Christian Kirk, or Gabe Davis? Which one of those 4 guys that the Patriots had as wide receivers today are better than the 3 guys that Jacksonville had?
None of them. I would take all 3 of those guys over.
And I think Drake Maye can be better than Trevor Lawrence, but it's not reasonable to expect him to be in his second career start.
No.
So I don't understand where this sort of righteous indignation came with the fact that they were underdogs today. I picked the Patriots to cover. I thought that they would put a better effort forward today than that. So I was wrong. I mean, what do you want me to tell you? I missed it just like everybody else. But I didn't think the whole, like, the roster on paper for Jacksonville is better than that of the Patriots.
Yeah.
I was wrong. I thought the Patriots would cover today. I missed it. I mean,
just not great stuff coming out of the Patriots locker room either today. Daniel Aquale with a quote via Andrew Callahan. Gerod just said post-game, everybody got to check their ego when they come in. And I agree with him. I feel like a lot of guys think too highly of themselves and have to check their ego and come in and just play as a team. I feel like if we play as a team, nobody can stop us. But if we go out there and do our own thing and play outside of the scheme, that's when we get beat. Similar message kind of from what we heard from Devon Godshaw a couple weeks ago. Also, Alex Barth just pointing out that Uche and Raekwon McMillan played just 11 snaps each. So there was a little bit of a pullback on them from terms of defensive changes.
Deuce, while you got your hipster tablet pulled up there, could you also go on to the Instagram? Because Sam from North Carolina says, Polk has me wondering, his Insta post after the game was odd. Wonder if he dropped his phone while posting.
No, he just posted a simple peace sign. I don't know what that means. Peace out. Peace, I'm okay. But
I'm
just
okay.
a simple peace.
Maybe I'm okay.
Just a peace emoji. Read from that.
I would just, or maybe it's 2 for 2 drops.
And I completely understand.
Bye, London.
I completely understand.
Maybe he's getting meatball sandwiches.
Utah, give me 2.
I completely understand, that I'm 100 years old and I didn't grow up with all of these apps that you incessantly have to post every one of your every last thought on.
Right.
I just don't know what would possess a player going through what he's going through right now to immediately say, you know what I think is a good idea? Let me get on Instagram.
Right. Oh, geez. No.
I understand I'm out of touch. It's not, I get it. Oh, big run for your boy Jahmyr Gibbs. He gone.
He walks right in.
He gone.
There we go. Well,
He's
Red
fast.
Zone Hardy as the Lions are on the scoreboard here, 10-7 against Minnesota. Okay. All right,
yeah,
10-6.
I don't really know. Harmless. And it's probably a nothing thing. It's probably like peace. I'm okay. Peace, London, whatever. Like I don't think it's like any negative
Peace
thing
out.
that he posts.
I'm out of here.
Why are you posting anything?
Oh yeah.
Right now.
He already deleted it.
Don't worry,
Oh,
Napoleon.
no, did he?
Yeah.
Which tells me it wasn't harmless.
You'll find your soulmate too. Peace out. It's just
That was
just a Kip Dynamite thing. That's all it was.
Excellent.
All right.
La Fonda.
Let's hear from La Fonda. Yeah, La Fonda. I love doing the Uncle Rico too when I'm sitting here like this. Yeah.
Just looking at his arms.
Yeah. Well, you put your fist underneath
you give one. Even I have arms. I have no arms. But even I would have arms.
Give yourself biceps.
Yeah.
Let us hear from the head coach here, Gerod Mayo, which is brought to you by Microsoft Surface, our partner here and the official sideline technology provider and laptop of the NFL. And the New England Patriots provides players and coaches with the tools to succeed both on and off the field. Check out the new Surface Pro, designed to keep you and keep up with you as the most flexible, most powerful 2-in-1 tablet and laptop out there at surface.com.
Look, disappointing game. We came out, we started fast. What I would say is, look, we're a soft football team across the board. We talk about what makes a tough football team. That's being able to run the ball, that's being able to stop the run, and that's being able to cover kicks, and we did none of those today. They controlled the ball for most of the day. Their run game averaged over 4.5 yards a carry. Our run game, not sure what the average was, but it wasn't good. Look, back to the drawing board. I mean, we can't sit here and pout. We just got to put a game together. I'm not sure. That's something that you got to watch on film. What I will say is it's a mentality, it's an attitude, and here as of late, our run game just hasn't been able to do anything offensively, and then defensively. The players, we just got to play better. We got to play better technique. Got to lock our guy out in front of us, and really that's what it comes down to: locking the guy out in front of you, dominating him, and making a tackle. I'm not sure. That's something that I have to think about. We have a long flight back, and I'm not sure. It's not like all of a sudden, we did something different and now we're a soft football team. It's just the mentality that we got to get back in the guys.
Do you think you need to consider a change to the defensive play calling?
Look, once again, I'll go back over the film, and you know, from where I was standing, like even when you're in the right call, they're still not doing their job. So that's on me.
The decision to go for the 2-point conversion after the touchdown.
Yep. Yep. So that decision, at some point in time, you have to go for 2. And I just wanted to at least know what situation we were going to be in with more time on the clock. So we went for 2 on the first one. You know, I'm sure other people see it a different way. It's just a philosophical thing.
What did you see on the punt return touchdown?
I saw guys getting out leveraged. I saw a punt down the middle of the field, which is always difficult to cover. And look, he has a strong leg, and he outkicked his coverage, and we weren't disciplined in our lanes. I thought Drake, you know, did a good job, especially starting the game off fast. He made some good throws. He made some plays with his legs. But again, I have to go back to the film and really just study that.
Gerod, with now 6 straight losses, are you worried that you're losing the players at all, or that guys are getting really down?
No, I'm not worried about that. Look, the guys, they understand. Every week is its own week, and, you know, it's my job, you know, when we get there on Wednesday is to change the page. So.
Gerod, you used that word the other day, rebuild, which was great. You know, restart, rebuild. Does it feel farther away than maybe even you thought when you took this job?
No, not at all. You know, look, I don't want to go back and say we should have won this or because we should have lost. I mean, we could have lost all of the games. And saying that, we just got to keep working, going out there with the players that we have and get better.
The run game offensively, what do you think that phase is not having the success you're used to there?
I mean, that kind of goes back to what I said earlier. It's a mentality. It's a mentality, and it's about reestablishing the line of scrimmage.
Level of concern with Jalen Polk? I mean, just hands on the ball and not finishing.
Yeah, we need more from Polk. We need more concentration. He'll be a good player in this league. Just got to continue to work at it.
Offensively, you had 10 points on the first 2 drives. What did you see change after that?
Again, I'll go back and look at the film. It would be easy to say, the vibe on the sideline was down. It wasn't down. It was still up. It always comes back to execution in my eyes, and just didn't do it. It wasn't like a big adjustment that was made or anything like that. We just weren't making the plays.
Do you wish you had brought the team out here earlier to get more acclimated or anything like that?
No, look, once again, we started the game off fast, and they felt good. I asked multiple players, and we just didn't finish.
Well, you used the word concentration when you were talking about some of the problems on the field. Do you think concentration is a problem that's growing before we get into the season?
I don't think so. I think every single week is its own week, and you got to hit the reset button. And that includes concentration, attention to the details, all of those things.
How's that concerns the whole? How do you keep how do you keep his motivation up when he's struggling like this too?
Well, first I have to remind him he's a young football player, and I'm not using that as an excuse, but I mean, this isn't the last iteration or evolution of Jalen Polk. He just has to get back in the meeting rooms and go back out there on the field and get better.
Soft is a tough word for a player to hear. Are you trying to send a message to them?
Every time I talk to you guys, I understand that the players read all of that stuff, so I always use this vehicle as a way to reinforce a message or get a message out to those guys.
Do you think there's a way for you to be harder on the players?
There's always a way to be harder. I think there's always a balance in doing that. Again, like 6 straight losses. I mean, they feel bad about it as well. As a professional player, like you feel bad about losses just like everyone else, and it's about just going back to the drawing board and trying to put some stuff together.
You describe the team as soft. I mean, how would you describe the coaching staff?
Look, the coaches. Well, first it starts with me, and it's about just the mentality of going back to having a tough football team, and I just have to do a better job. And like I said, I'll think it through on the plane ride home. Look, it's hard to win football games in the NFL, and I totally understand that. I've talked to seasoned coaches, head coaches around the league, and they say the same thing. It's tough. It's tough. And then once again, every week is its own week.
Coach, what does successful, not successful, but at 1-6, second half of the season, what sort of goals can you put in place to at least ensure that there's going to be some development on this team?
Yep. I think the main goal is to win next week. Thank you.
And there you go. There's your head coach. Gerod Mayo asked about Jalen Polk. Softening a little bit, saying that he will be a good player in this league. He just needs to continue to work at it. Didn't say anything about his mental issues. Also asked about the decision to go for 2 after scoring the touchdown. And You know what? He brought up something that we hadn't mentioned before. If that way they know what they need. So I think he's brought.
When you say it that
I think
way.
he's brought me around on this. He did say it's a philosophical decision. Other people
So,
disagree.
Like, why wouldn't, like, if it was just about knowing what you need, right? Why wouldn't you just kick a field goal on 3rd down? Save some time. Well, now you know what you need.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
instead of down 9, we're down 12.
Knowing what you need, knowing what you have, knowing what you can do without. That's inventory control.
I don't get it. I just
I don't get it either.
there's a lot of analytic stuff that has sort of taken the league over that I think has been for the better. I think more teams are willing to go for it on 4th down, even in unconventional spots on the field, which I think is smart. I think it's good football. I just can't understand why you would rather be down 9 so you know you need 2 scores with 8 minutes left in the game rather than be down 8 knowing you only need 1 score.
I know.
It's a philosophy.
I don't know why. I don't understand why it's better because you know what you need. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I'd say too on Polk. Like I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. I mean, it's not that extreme, but like I've never, in my time here watching all the training camp and seeing a player and thinking like, all right, this guy's going to be pretty good, to just see kind of a mental block. I don't know. Yeah, that's the tweet, or I guess the IG story that he put up with just the peace sign. But I don't know. I've never usually can get a good sense of how a player is, and you know, we've seen plenty of receivers over my time here. Man, that guy just can't get open. He's inconsistent. He has drops or he gets hurt. And with Polk, you felt, man, he looks pretty solid, and somehow he's just, I've never seen a player kind of fighting it like this before.
All right, what did Drake Maye have to say after his performance today in the 32-16 loss to the Jaguars in London? Let's hear from the quarterback right now.
Yeah, no, we've been preaching fast start. You know, AVP, he wanted us to start fast. He said it last week, we didn't do it, but I feel like, you know, we did that today and we just didn't sustain it long enough. You know, I had some chances down there in the red zone that second drive that wish I had back. But other than that, I think, you know, what Coach Mayo's preaching, we got to be able to run the football. And you know, when we do throw it on 1st and 2nd down, you know, I got to find some completions to get us in, you know, 3rd and manageable. You know, 3rd and long's hard in this league, and I thought the guys battled. You know, especially up front, those guys playing their butts off. You know, those guys a lot up front, and I feel like we made some plays, just not good enough.
What do you think you guys weren't able to sustain the fast start?
Yeah, I think. But I think other than maybe 1 or 2 other games this season, we just, you know, we hadn't started fast in a while. It was kind of was something new for us. So, you know, proud of the guys for starting fast. I think I had, you know, KB open on, you know, the 3rd down there. You know, on the second drive, maybe punch one in, you know, punch another one in, and it's, you know, maybe a different ball game. So, maybe, you know, a couple throws here and there, you know, for me as well. And then other than that, we just got to, I guess, just find out, you know, ways to, you know, get first downs. And I feel like the Jags did a nice job of, you know, time possession. Shoot, we had for a while there in the second half, 1 drive the whole half until the end. So, you know, credit to them. And then just got to, I don't know, work harder, find something different. You know, find something different.
Drake, Gerod Mayo just came in here and said you guys were a soft football team. He used that phrase several times. Did he say that to you, and how does it feel to
Yeah, I mean, Coach Mayo's not going to come in here and say something he hasn't said us in the locker room. You know, I think, you know, we're not tough. He always preaches being tough. He preached it today. You know, being tough is, you know, running the football, stopping the run, and covering kicks is what he said. So, you know, I think he does a great job of relaying the message to us, and the guys know. You know, John Jones gave, you know, a speech after the game saying, you know, you got to find it. You know, we got to find something, and you know, what we're doing is not good enough, and we got to man up. Yeah, I think the little things. I think little things like, you know, false starts that falls out on me. We got to be more, you know, clear and up front with the cadence with the O-line and those guys. But other than that, I took care of the football. Maybe 1 time, 1 or 2 times endangered it, and then on that last one, the 4th down, that's just football there. But other than that, I feel like I'm seeing it well. Make a few different throws. But other than that, I think you do a better job on the sideline. Sometimes pumping guys up, or, you know, relaying some messages to different guys that you may see this, hey, what are you thinking, and little things like that. But, you know, I thought we, you know, had some bright spots again today, but like I said, not good enough.
Drake, on the touchdown to Hasty earlier,
Yeah, they just a hot. We're hot to the back, and they end up bringing, I think, back or in safety, and they dropped out the defensive end on the opposite side. So just finding completion. It was 3rd and 10, we're already in field goal range, and then Hasty made a play. I think we got to do more of that, of getting our guys the ball and let them make plays. And I thought I'd try to do that today. Found the check downs. Besides that last drive, just when they're playing deep, I found some check downs early on in the game that helped us. And I feel like little plays like that in 1st or 2nd down can go a long way for us.
Drake, if you compare last week to this week, as far as you go, did things feel like they slipped out of your head this week compared to last week? Did you feel more comfortable, more relaxed? How would you compare the 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think more and more. More and more you're out there, you're seeing different things, seeing different fronts, seeing different coverages, and getting a better feel. I think the Jags, did some different stuff of playing guys in different spots in the same coverage, and then other than that, I'm here to help this football team win, and we're not getting that done, so I got to do something different. Yeah. No, I think, JP's a great player. He's making plays. It's a little slick out there. Sometimes the ball's on the paint and, the paint all over the ball. So, I think, it's just the field a little bit. But other than that, got to find ways to get the football early. I need to get him in the game early. I think that will help him, feel involved. Got to make a better throw to him on the corner route on the first drive. Little things like that to get him involved because he's a good player for us, and we need him out there. So it's on me to kind of get him going. And throughout the week, he's always asking me to watch film and little things like that. And I guess throw after practice, he's always there. So maybe even got to do more. Whatever we're doing is not do more. Yeah, Pop's a great player for us. He made a great play on a couple of good plays on the first drive. But it's next man up. This is the NFL. There's some big dudes colliding into each other out there on the field. So we got the next man up, and credit to Pop for battling through and being out there as much as he can. He's a great player for us, and hopefully have him back. Thank you.
All right, there goes Drake Maye after his performance today. 32-16, the final from London, where he himself played well early on, certainly during the opening drive or two. Ended up 26-37 on the day for 276 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, but certainly not enough after things just kind of stalled and the defense couldn't get a stop. Yeah. I didn't even know it. I didn't even plan on doing it, but I think I've just kind of encapsulated my thoughts on today's game.
That's pretty much it, right? I mean, you'd love to see what would happen if they had a little bit more of a running game, if they got some stops on defense, if they, God forbid, got some takeaways on defense, things like that can affect the game positively for the Patriots offense and put them in a better position. So, they did a little bit, but not enough, and they certainly didn't get much help from them or the special teams.
There's been another explanation of the decision to go for 2 early from Ben Volen. He says, it's probably the right decision. They're still down 9, but now they know they need 2 scores and have 8:22 left. Had they waited until the end of the game to go for 2 and failed, they wouldn't have had enough time to make it up. One of the first comments after that post was the quote, "It's better to be down 2 scores than 1 score in a game you've struggled to score points in." with the guy what's his name from The Hangover?
Oh yeah,
yeah, doing the Rain Man.
The Beautiful Mind.
Yeah, it's like no, you're not going to convince me.
I need something. In all seriousness, we've had some fun with the whole 9 thing, right? I need somebody to give me something other than what you need.
Yeah.
I need another reason, another factor.
Give me stats as percentage of success for teams that have done it both ways. Where are you more likely to succeed in those 2 situations? How about that?
To me, like that, see, I think that's part of the problem is too much of the analytics is completely result-oriented. It's not, I've seen a million bad decisions that worked.
Yeah.
It doesn't make it right just because it worked. So I would like,
scoreboard.
I get, yeah. Oh, thank you, Felger. Perfect.
Scoreboard.
Perfect. Because I don't know if you know, but Patrick Mahomes didn't play as a rookie, and he turned out to be a great quarterback. So that means if he had played as a rookie, he would stink.
Right. Scoreboard.
Right. Scoreboard.
All right.
So, again,
I don't know what point you're trying to make.
My point is maybe if he played as a rookie, he'd be even better. I don't know. He never played as a rookie, so I can't really prove that. But scoreboard tells me that he's a really good player and he didn't play as a rookie.
Absence of scoreboard.
Right.
That's what you say.
So I need something other than That way you know what you need.
Right, because all
like, why is it like so? There's 8 minutes left, and I know I need one score. Like, what's wrong with that?
I know, because all I hear is I'd rather know I'm down by 2 scores than be down by 1 score.
No, but like that way you know what you need. If you kick it and you're down 8, you don't know what you need. Like, I need something other than you know what you need. That is all.
That's you know what? You saved it for the end, but that's the best point. If you kick the extra point, you know what you need.
That's why I'm harping on that phrase so much.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
why is it better to know you need 2 scores than 1?
Right.
Either way, you know what you need.
Deuce, you need anything else? You have any other final thoughts?
No, I don't. It was a tough loss, and I'm not really. The Jets coming in with Devontae Adams. We'll see how that looks with them, and it's a rejuvenated offense. The defense, they just got to find something. They got to find ways to get stops, make field. They don't have the players really to go to. I'm not sure how they're going to pull it out of a hat.
Yeah, I totally agree with Mike. If you cannot find a way to play better defense, it's not really going to matter.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, it's been an absolute giggle fest being back with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Hour 3 coming up after the break.
It's been a gas. It's been a gas.
Oh,
No. As a matter of fact, there is no hour 3.
I really do appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
it would have taken away our fun if I would have made Mike host. So it would have taken some fun.
Kind of when
away
you have
from
like a brief fling with your ex, and you go, God, what do we have?
Why
what
didn't it work? Why didn't it work?
Yeah.
Why couldn't we make this? Well, we're in love with different people now. So what do you?
Well, if I stuck around for a third hour, it'd be painfully obvious why.
Why it didn't work.
But no, I watch the show every week with you and Matt, and it's been great. So thank you for having me back for this game today, presented by DraftKings here on the Patriots Postgame Show. The final score for the final time, Patriots 16, Jaguars 32. Thank you for listening and watching.
Thank you for downloading this podcast. Subscribe on Apple, Google Play, and everywhere else you listen. Like the show? Please rate and review us. Listener comments and ratings help keep us high in the podcast rankings so new listeners can find us. Be sure to check Patriots.com for more news and more podcasts.